What's going on, guys? Casey Flower here, and welcome back to another trip report. Today I'm in Sarasota, and I gotta make my way back up to reality, back to St. Louis on a airline that I haven't flown in forever. Back when they used to fly MD-80s, back when they used to fly DC-9s. Gonna be flying with the airline Allegiant today on an Airbus A320 up to an airport called Belleville up in Illinois. Technically a St. Louis airport. It's on the outskirts of St. Louis. It's right next to the airport of where I fly out of for SLU. Right next to the airport where I train out of, Belleville, Illinois. On Allegiant, my aircraft's actually right now on final to get me. The inbound got delayed. It's coming from South Bend, Indiana, and it got delayed coming out of there, so it's delayed coming into here. And it's going to be hopefully slightly delayed coming out of here, taking me to Bellevue. So, here we go. An airline that I haven't flown in forever, 15 years. I've flown on the 2000s Allegiant, but not the 2020 Allegiant. The all Airbus, A319, A320, soon to come 737 MAX fleet Allegiant. So yeah, America's biggest vacation holiday airline. There it is, she just landed. SA Vacation's biggest vacation airline because they have a lot of flights, say down here to Florida and out west, say up to Montana. And just all these holiday destinations on these select days of the week. So a very low budget holiday airline and Allegiant's like the biggest airline that does that in America. Even though Allegiant does have an app, they direct you straight to the Safari webpage for you to check in. The check-in process through the webpage isn't too far from the other. Later at the end, you're able to access your electronic boarding pass through the app with reservation when you're checked in. Once you're checked in, you aren't able to change your seat, add checked bags, or change your boarding priority, but you are able to get a hotel or airport route accommodations. I waited for my inbound to get closer, and eventually I made my way down to TSA and arrived at the gate and saw my ride to Belleville. November 280 November Delta would be the start of the trip today, and she was delivered brand new to Cebu Pacific in the Philippines, registered as Romeo Papa Charlie 3270 in October of 2010, and then made its way over to the States with Allegiant in August of 2019. We watched the last people deplane, and shortly after, we were able to board.
3011 with service to Belleville. We did begin the boarding process. I am currently boarding only those passengers needing. This is your family with you?
15-year hiatus later, back on Allegiant.
Yeah. What are you taking a picture of?
Just outside, the pen when we're boarding. I stepped on and made my short way to seat 4A. It has a width of 17 and a pitch of 34. I'm not entirely sure what this is. I think it's a tray table. Sure, we'll go with that. And the storage space is pretty limited. But on the pro side, I had a lot of legroom since I was close to the front. Plus, I had a really killer engine view.
To reach your assigned seat, please step out of the aisle so the other passengers may pass by.
In the tiny seat back pocket, there's a pretty significant amount of literature. You can find a piece on what you can get on the Allegiant Reward Program, a magazine showing the many vacation destinations, and another magazine with some more random advertising and the in-flight menu. Lastly, the safety information card is in there too. After getting everyone on in a quick and somewhat confusing manner, we saw wing walkers and made our way back on our way to runway 14.
My name is Captain Anderson. At First Officer Braun with me this afternoon. We'll be flying in there 2 hours and 2 minutes, 803 miles, down to 34,000 feet. Should be a nice flight. There you are having a little rain showers kind of all over the northeast up there and into Belleville, so you may have a couple bumps getting in there, but shouldn't be anything too bad. I know we're running a little behind this afternoon. This plane was a little late in getting in here, so the faster we can get everybody in their seats, buckle up, the faster we'll get you out of here. on your way to your destination. We have 4 of our best flight attendants on board, primarily here for your safety. But if there's anything
We had a bit of a takeoff line, so the waiting game did have to take an effect. Unfortunately, that's what happens at a small airport with single runway use, but still gets a lot of traffic. But once all the silly little private jets and Cessnas were out, it was then our turn. Toga, power set, airspeed alive. V1, VR, V2. Pause the brake, gear up. And that is us finally on our way back from the Midwest. I'm enjoying the last bit of the Floridian scenery before we level off, and then we'd all be over the ocean. Very shortly after we leveled off, the crew started their buy on board snack and beverage services. I didn't feel like spending the money on anything since it was only a 2-hour flight, but if we were in the air for a bit longer, I would have, but not today. Here's a menu showing what you can get. If you want, you can pause the video to look it over. There's no Wi-Fi at all on the flight, so there's no IFE in a tab, so you're limited to downloadable content on this tiny little tray table. So I wish you the best of luck getting whatever you need to onto here. Our way into the Midwest progressed, and with a little more than a half hour left, we're going to review this new to channel airline using my rating system, my Raleigh rating scale. If you're new here, I use my totally original scale to rate my experiences at the tail end of every one of my trip reports. The service on this flight gets a 10 out of 10. After being delayed, there was some confusion in some boarding of the packs, not knowing where their seat was, and wanting a different seat. The crew dealt with that great, and they still got us out in a quick manner. Did their snack and drink runs, and most were trash runs. The Wi-Fi gets a 0 out of 10. It wasn't there at all, not even a web browser and a simple flight tracker with built-in entertainment. The cleanliness gets a 9.5 out of 10. It was very pretty and a clean cabin, clean windows with the exception of tiny scratches in the back of the seats, but that was no big deal. The food gets a 5.5 out of 10. It had a lot of great food options, and even more drink options. As buy on board, the one thing from stopping me was me being a broke college student and didn't want to spend extra on a simple soft drink, so I didn't have anything. However, you are able to have complimentary drinks and snacks if you're in the rewards program and have an Allegiant MasterCard. But since I'm not a big Allegiant flyer, I don't see myself starting that anytime soon. But unfortunately, that's some low-budget airlines for you. The entertainment on this flight gets an 8 out of 10. I know that there wouldn't be any Wi-Fi or any kind of IFE, so I was able to download some content on my iPad that I knew I would enjoy. As far as the views go, there were some pretty fancy cloud formations climbing out of Florida, and the sun was in my eyes for most of it, so there was mostly clouds the whole way, but they were there. The seat gets a 7 out of 10. I had to set my expectations appropriately, and the seat didn't meet them. It was a super bare bone seat, and I mean super bare bone. And I did cheat a little bit and paid more to get close to the front. It had more legroom, giving it a higher rating. It wasn't the widest seat in the world, but I fit fine. The armrest was very loose, but it wasn't broken. It got the job done for 2 hours, but longer than that would be pushing it. So the overall rally rating for this flight is a 6.5 out of 10.
Please watch your step. There's a slight step down from the aircraft to the jet bridge. So again, please watch your step.
We're going now. Thank you.
Watch your step.
I got off in the tiny Belleville terminal and made my way groundside to claim my bag and catch my ride back to St. Louis. Down here in Belleville, Mid-America Airport, I just realized I left my Piper hat on the plane. So the one that you saw me wearing at the beginning of the video, now I know how I lost it. I left it on the plane. So anyway, yeah, here we are. We are now. No cockpit visit in this one, unfortunately. Not because the crew said no and couldn't film. Because my ride's here and I gotta catch my ride. And she's on fairly limited time to get me. So yeah, I'm just gonna get out here, get my bag, and go get my ride. I got my bag, my ride's here. Time to head back to SLU. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick little review. I did it on Allegiant. My next video is gonna be in about 3 weeks when I fly back to the West Coast for Christmas vacation. Gonna be a little bit of a bittersweet one, but you'll just have to stay tuned for that one. And I look forward to seeing you guys on my next adventure. Bye for now. How's it going? Thanks for getting me. Yes, ma'am.